So welcome back. We got the next episode, the next samples for three new bourbons this week of our blind samples.
Mine's extremely dark.
3 new whiskeys.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that might be.
That looks like
might be
Scotch.
the bottle.
That looks like Scotch. It really takes quite a bit of change for me to see a whole lot of color difference.
Difference in color, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a good grunt or a bad grunt?
It's just a.
He's still deciding.
I almost heard a contented sigh, like, oh yeah.
That's the good stuff.
All right, so color.
This
Color.
one's
It looks a little lighter, actually.
a little light, very earthy
Yeah.
to me on the nose.
I would go with rich amber. On
That's
this
what I
one.
put.
Yeah, that one's got a lot of herb in there for me. Maybe some of that mint. I'm probably catching mint because I tested out the ref's sample box earlier.
You smelled some mint, and then it's hard to.
Hard to get it away now, but some orange and mint.
Growing up, my grandma had a mint plant.
yeah.
Mint's one of those things that will take over, and that's one of the things. If you have a little bit of
Sure.
mint, very shortly after that, you
Definitely
have a lot
catching
of it.
orange.
Yeah,
and
there's
mint.
definitely some orange on that. Almost like an orange peel, like a harsh orange almost.
Almost like an old fashioned or something like
Yeah.
Yeah,
that. Almost get like a fruit,
like a fruitcake.
like a medley. I guess I don't know if that's a
Fruitcake,
good
yeah.
word for it, but
Heavy orange. Ooh. Doesn't taste like orange.
That's a very different face that you just made there with.
It was totally different than the aroma.
expected something.
Oh,
Well, I almost got like a touch of soap.
soap.
Yeah, like I was expecting orange and sweet, and it pops me
Yep.
like, wow, there's
Yep.
soap in it.
This is definitely
Can't tell what kind of soap.
No,
Like dish soap, hand soap, industrial like cleaning.
Boy.
The cranberry soap we used to
Oh,
Yeah,
it's like when
cranberry.
my mom used to wash my mouth out with soap.
yeah, this is not the orange nose.
No,
that I get off.
not at all.
It's Lifebuoy. There you go.
This one might be a water candidate for me.
Yeah, that might open it up nice.
It does. There's a bitterness to it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I get,
Like
I'm
a
getting
touch
the
of
soap.
pine almost. Like
Yeah.
there's a little bit of harsh pine where it's not unpleasant. It's just so different than the smell.
There's a little heat to it.
Oh, see now that soap is almost like a floral now. Almost like a perfume, like a floral perfume
Fragrant kind of thing.
that grandma would have worn.
That's not a good thing.
Not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
As long as it's not tasting like patchoulis, we're good.
Yeah, it's not patchouli,
No patchouli.
that's for sure. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Not my favorite.
No.
No?
And it's to
No.
me it's very earthy.
Yeah.
See, and,
Like I've
and
got from the very
knowing
start.
what's in all of these,
It's a-
I expected
How
to
many is
like
it? Just
all
two,
of
I
them. And this is not my
Thanks,
favorite.
sir.
It's,
No.
it's drinkable. It's fine. It's not a scotch.
That's a mixture for me.
Yeah.
The water helped.
Did it?
The water
how
helped.
so? How so?
So it's sweeter. It has a little sweeter. It opened up some. The orange kind of came out a little bit.
All right. Now see, it's got a sweeter aroma now
Yeah.
with some water.
A little more of the mint that I was smelling is there too now.
Yeah, it's oddly enough with some water, it's more full-bodied now.
Yeah. It would be a good mixer, I think, is what this one would be. I don't know that I'd definitely have to be on the rocks.
That's disheartening.
Not a bad one to make an old fashioned with.
Yeah.
I love law.
That's what it reminded me of.
Not going to be on my neat desk.
Because none of these are $20 bottles. I'm just going to throw out there.
Yeah. That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why we do it blind. So if you hate it, don't ever spend $60, $80 on it.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
I mean, we're probably not going to make some friends in the distillery world today, so.
That's why we do it blind.
Well, just a couple of drops of water really did make a difference in that one, though.
Well, it's less soapy with some water.
Yeah, the bitterness is gone.
It's
Yeah.
still like the soap turns into vanilla with a little touch of water, which is a positive thing for sure, because the soapy was not lovely. and I did not wash any of these bottles with soap. So that's not what it is.
I don't know. I'm having a hard time describing that body before we added the water. It was just
Well, it's not my lowest scored one to date. It's not my highest either. It's not terrible. I'm with you. I think the more I try number 4, the more I guess it's palatable. I don't hate it. You know, I wouldn't say don't ever serve
not a
this to me.
drain pour.
Yeah. I'm not going to be dumping it out.
yeah.
The nose.
I really liked the nose. I
Yeah.
did. I really liked the nose part of it.
Just wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
trying
mean,
to-
even now with some water, the nose is very fruity, very vanilla, almost like a creamsicle.
But the taste on it to me, again, there's still something very like earthy about it, and not dirt wise, but just
Yeah.
there's something very. It's not bright. It's
Yeah.
it just doesn't have
Right.
that. So
Yeah.
Not an everyday drinker, but I mean, it's okay.
you know. And
I've
there's
had far worse.
yeah, and there's a lot of whiskeys out there I think that end up kind of in that category for me that are just okay. You know, I think in the world we live in today, some of the distillers have tried to, you know, like the Angel's Envies, and you know they found a niche in the finishing in certain types of barrels. You know, the finishing of the whiskeys to me seems very, I guess, kind of niche right now. But that's where everybody's trying to kind of find their spot because, you know, I hate to say,
Green.
yeah.
Well, do you know, I got scotch finally.
Yeah,
Something
you
with
finally
some-
got a scotch.
with some class in here. So.
But everybody's trying to
because otherwise it'll look terrible.
everybody's trying to find their mark
Number 5.
in the market, and it's very interesting how you know some of these are that way. And so you're gonna until the next thing comes, you're gonna have a lot of middle of the road. It seems like to me.
Well, and I like that because that adds variety.
Agreed.
Our supplier does a good job of making sure that there's good variety on his shelves, and
4 different kinds of black velvet.
yeah, well, it's an Iowa favorite. So
The most sold liquor in all of Iowa, I believe, according
is
to
true.
the ABV.
Do you go through a lot of Tito's too?
oh yeah. So this one would be more of the copper. This is probably a little darker for me.
Yeah, this has got a little more color to it, I believe.
Almost mahogany.
Yeah, touch. Not quite as weak as 2, but it's not real.
As I say, it's not real strong.
Yeah. A little swirl helps open up the nose a little bit, but
It hasn't eaten through the plastic yet, so that's
no,
That's a good sign.
the high dollar China.
We're just one step above the motel room paper cups here
Oh.
today.
Wild Turkey 101.
Ooh. I don't hate that.
What'd you get on the nose? Because I'm still struggling to find.
Not
some.
much.
I was gonna say
Not
I'm
much
catching
at
the
all.
ethanol, but that's about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Catching some proof,
Put some
but
of that in your mouth, Kim.
And he means the whiskey when he says that.
Yeah.
Just can't pick out quite what that is.
I don't envy the master distillers and tasters at all that have to do this every day of the week.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to have such a refined palate
Yeah.
and sense of smell and everything to pick out
Nah,
some of
there's
those.
a bunch of drunks.
That is definitely corn. I'm catching a corn and pepper.
Well, if you tell me it's heavy barley, you're wrong. So don't say that.
Malted
malted.
barley, malted
This
barley.
is like 100% malted barley. It's
Yeah.
not.
It's not
There's
that.
no tricks here.
It came in a green bottle.
Or
I
another
keep
tongue
trying to
lasso.
nose at it after I've had a couple of sips, just to see if something.
Yeah, I mean it's a little grassy.
Burn on the tongue lasts a little bit longer. On
It-
that
it
one.
does.
Yeah, the finish is a little longer.
Which again, with the weak nose, is kind of surprising, and I don't hate it. I like that. I mean, it's still going. It's not Dickel Tabasco. It's not like on fire. It's just
Right.
kind of a
There's
nice,
some spice there.
easy, yeah.
Yeah, there's spice is a good word.
Still going. I like that finish.
No, there's very little aroma at all.
Yeah. All I caught was the ethanol, but it wasn't enough to make you, jump back from it. you know?
It doesn't nose like it's young. You know, some of those young ones still have a very pungent. You know, this one certainly has some age to it, just based
Yeah.
off of the color and.
The taste is definitely the carrier of this
Yeah,
one here.
Absolutely.
Going to the water.
Yeah, that one might be worth some water. I'm gonna add water to 2.
Might have brought it out a little more.
Yeah.
So you warm it
I'm
up.
not sure the right kind of spice to. It's not like a baking spice, but it's
Okay.
it's
It's a
not anise, but it's got it's a spice. It's got a real.
it's
It's not that.
Allspice? There's
Allspice.
Oh, wait,
That's
what?
maybe that's what I'm getting.
There's clove.
There's
Maybe that's
allspice.
what I'm thinking. I don't know what clove smells like. Get the other one out of my nose first.
You want us to wash it out?
I didn't take
Here,
it.
lean your head back.
So we got a navage. Maybe a little bit of that.
So I took a little drop and I kind of warmed it up on my hands of this one. And the nose is extremely pleasing when you kind of break it out and open it up and warm it. It's a very, that I enjoy. Now I'm starting to get a little more of that bread, baking.
It is like a baking spice.
Yeah.
That allspice kind of caught a little bit for me. Almost kind of right in between the two. I mean, but that could have been lingering from the clove too. Tastes good after water. I mean, it tastes good before too. Not a bad finish after that. Not at all.
Oh, that's much more enjoyable with a little bit of water. Wow. I liked it before. That really just opens it up. Longer finish.
a little fruitier. Or at least that's what I'm
It's,
getting.
it's just so complex. Like everything's
Yeah.
blended and it's
Yeah.
hard to pick out.
I was gonna say I'm really struggling
and
with.
still got a front tongue burn on it going.
I was gonna say
10
under the
seconds
tongue. I
into
did
it.
that Kentucky chew.
Yeah.
And, you can just feel that around your mouth.
Still got a lot of that baking. Maybe just a hair of vanilla on that back end.
I don't know. It's a very
It's right in
enjoyable.
there. It's good.
Not much of a nose. You're not gonna sit and
Even with water, there's not much nose to it.
No.
I like that though. I don't dump it.
Cut him off.
Ooh, I like that one, yeah.
Well, we're on to our here pretty quick. We're on to our last one, and so what's everybody looking at? Did you just hit one of your favorites, or I know we're looking at the last tasting that we had, which is all part of this project.
This one's second in line for me. Number 5 is second highest.
Okay.
That's where I got it. But I had a different one, number 1.
See, I have
have
three of
one.
them tied. So from last episode, I have 2 and 3, and this one are.
So then you're going to have to go through and try them again and rank them based on...
Oh, darn.
Tiebreakers.
Yeah, this one to me, points wise has the most points of everything. I think the color was great. Really, the nose is the only thing that that kind of let me down on this one. Now, as I drank, and maybe in a more specific glass, more designed for this. Again, we're drinking out of some sample cups here. Maybe that would be better. But everything else to me, this one's the highest score
Really?
one that I have so far. It is.
I
Excellent.
had it an 18.
Yeah, that's why I had it 18
Ooh,
as
this
well.
one's light.
The
this
hardest one
one-
for me to
this
grade
one's
is the
light.
color. Because I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking for. You
Yeah,
know,
I
as
think
far
that's
as-
preference on that.
Whether you
Yeah.
pour this one.
Yeah, wait till this one's.
Super light.
I know. So this one is probably
A Scotch.
the amber.
That's like a light honey
so,
color.
so we knew Doc would finally come around.
Yeah,
But this is definitely an amber. This is much lighter than even honey is.
And to me, scoring when it comes to color, I do like to see a little. Generally, age is indicative of of color. You're going to gain more color the longer that it sits in the barrel.
A lot more nose than the last one.
Oh, is there? Okay, good.
For me.
Good. Because my color, I'm a little disappointed on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
But you can get a lot of color in a few months with these bourbons.
True.
You just don't get a lot of flavor right up front, or it's real harsh because it hasn't really gone back in and out.
And that's some of the self-aged stuff that we've done. I've taken, pure White Dog from Buffalo Trace and aged it just over a matter of a few months. And it's amazing how much color you do pick up out of those barrels very quickly, but the flavors just don't have...
This one doesn't taste like it's had a lot of char in the barrel. It's more fruity. It's kind of...
I know what these are. I just don't know what... Or I have no idea what this is. I'm sitting here looking at it and smelling it going, I have no clue what that is.
And this is off your shelf.
I poured
awesome.
it.
Came from your house.
But I can't... I have no idea what this is. That's crazy. Like, usually if there's a big color change and you poured them, you can be like, oh, yeah, I know what that one that is. I got nothing.
This one is very floral.
Yeah. Almost a little herbal to it, too.
Yeah, see, and I'm getting some mint out of this one.
Oh, it's got mint.
I got mint.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is interesting.
Not like an overpowering, but it's good.
Well, if I'm going to, quote a whiskey tuber, it'd be like, it'd be stepping into a fresh green meadow. That's that smell.
The third Tuesday of an April after a shower, and
Oh no, this is full moon whiskey. You can tell from the smell.
see, and I was thinking new moon, but
No, this is full moon.
Yeah, I was gonna say most everyday whiskey drinkers are like, I like it or I don't like it.
But for again going back to color, based off of the color that's here, I would think maybe a younger whiskey. But again, a lot of younger whiskeys on the nose will catch more of that ethanol alcohol. And this doesn't have any of that ethanol at all. I was expecting more of a pungent, kind
Have
of
you
a
tasted
punch.
it yet?
I haven't yet. I'm still nosing.
That taste will just wake you
I
up.
like that.
So it's almost like this might sound kind of dumb, it's kind of because it's coming from me, but kind of clean and refreshing almost.
Yeah. It totally does. Like I drink that, I'm like, oh, I like that. Wow.
I know.
Have that for work in the morning.
Does
ready
Black
to go.
Velvet do a weeding?
Is that BV weeded? Is that what we're having?
Thomas Hardy weeded, actually.
Thomas Hardy. Yeah, that's right. Thomas
Favorite. I
Hardy.
love that stuff. Is it Thomas H. Hardy?
The Buffalo Track Antiques Collection, not the Trace, but the Buffalo Track. Like Thomas Hardy
Buffalo
is
Trail.
Yeah, the Buffalo Trail. The Buffalo Trail. Yeah. The Thomas Hardy
There's
is the
a
Buffalo
lot
Trail.
of buffalo pies on that trail. It's not a good thing.
This is so I was getting almost like Japanese hot tea is kind of what is kind of what it reminded, the nose of it, and then that
I don't know that I've ever had that.
just
I haven't
that
either.
first flavor, like a green tea.
Yeah.
But you have that first just how warm it is initial, like boom, it's right there on the flavor.
I'm on that mint herbal clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ricola.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Well, even right now, just the finish, you're right. It's like after you chew spearmint gum, you just have that light, minty, refreshing flavor going on.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Sure, I've had
not
any
juicy
bourbons
fruit.
like this.
Juicy fruit gets
Or
weird.
Whiskeys.
This
Juicy
is
fruit ages poorly, but
Yes.
spearmint and
Juicy
doublement's good.
this for me is a very good bourbon as far as a different taste. This is something that if you have on your bar, when you uncap it or uncork it and pour it for somebody, they're definitely going to tell the difference between this and something else.
And it's probably not a bourbon based off of these are all wheat whiskeys. Some of them might be bourbons that are wheated. This might be just
Now
a straight.
that you say that, you might be right. This
Yeah.
might not be a bourbon.
This may just be a straight wheat whiskey, just based off of the color and.
You might be right.
And,
Which would be less corn and almost entirely wheat.
Yeah.
Would be the difference. To be a bourbon, it's got to be that 51% corn, and then you add the wheat in. This could be a majority, huge amount of wheat to it. That may be the difference.
So were any of these finished?
No.
No. So this would be just the whiskey itself.
Let me look. Let me look just to be sure. I don't think these are finished. Because I tried to make sure. But now I got to make sure.
I don't know. I need to try this again.
The body's not real strong, but it's pleasant and it hangs around.
Not at all what I was expecting.
One of them is finished. But just one.
This mash bill's got to have some rye in it, but I think it is probably just a majority of wheat, just based on what it is.
So
good.
I just want to ask you this one. On number 6, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Oh,
Do you like it, or do you would you
thumbs up.
hesitate on it and say, not really my thing?
It wouldn't be an everyday drink, but it'd be like
Okay.
Ken said, or sorry, one we'd want to have there.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, on hand to say, you want something different? Here, try this. Or
Yeah,
even, you
no.
know, if you ran a liquor store, a bar, like behind the counter, here, see what you think
Well,
of this.
so you got a wine person that's kind of transitioning into whiskey. I could almost taste wine in this one in some ways.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
so it
that's
might
good.
be a good transition, sort of.
See, and I look at that like if I'm making a warm winter, like a hot toddy or something like that, you know, because you're wanting some of those fruity citrus or brighter flavors. This most certainly has more of a brighter taste. It's not as complex, but as soon as it hits your tongue, it really rounds. You know, it to me, it hit my cheeks and everything, and it was just very.
Oh, see, I'm curious.
I
I'm
gotta
curious
know.
with the water.
It was very powerful right away.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't like the color. It looks like Scotch to me, which of course I'm a little biased against Scotch. The minty floral is fine. I enjoy it. It's not what I associate with bourbon, but I also it's not peaty. It's not earthy. It's just kind of like, oh, that's nice. You know?
Well, so you maybe your daily drinkers, you know, a good double oaked or something like that.
Yeah,
You
or
really
black
enjoy-
velvet caramel or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So you pull this out. You pull this out to maybe enjoy with, you know, a significant other, and it's
Yeah.
more
sure.
enjoyable for both of you then.
Just look at the color difference, though. I mean, these
Yeah.
are like all of these five pretty similar, totally different.
And I would guess
Yeah.
6 is probably a short age. It's probably not, you know, age-wise compared to the rest of them. It's probably not as.
Did anybody try any water in this one?
Tom, just
I haven't
did.
tried it yet, but
You ready? What do we think? What do we think? Proof-wise,
Just one, I think. Yeah.
Just one.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
Proof-wise, where do you think we're at?
Proof-wise, I would say we're at right around 100.
Okay. So
Has a little
Similar.
burn to it, but not much.
I guess maybe 90.
I was saying 85 to
85 to
75 to 90. Right
It's a good
now.
drinker. Yeah, it's not going to overpower you. It's not going to punch you in the face with proof.
Almost stopped.
There's something very, I'll say herbal, not medicinal bad, because some of those get very herbal and it's
Yeah,
almost
it's not
almost
medicinal.
it's not medicinal
It's
at all.
refreshing.
I think it's very I think
Well,
it's
and
very
I
enjoyable.
say it's a little higher proof just because it's tasty and it's floral, but it lingers. A little bit of that burn
It's
hangs
got
on.
that high
After-
proof finish to it.
Yeah.
After a little water, it almost tastes like a little pine nut, maybe.
Okay.
Or smell.
Yeah, I could probably see that.
Not pine sol, but pine nut.
Correct.
Pine nut fruit. Pine fruit.
Pine
fruit stone?
pine stone fruit. Pine stone fruit stone. The pit of a pine stone fruit
Christmas
stone.
tree?
I don't think
Yeah.
that's a thing.
Yeah. You just-
Little
Is it-
evergreen finish.
Is it
just made it
the
up.
vanilla off of a Rice Krispie bar?
yeah, one of those.
All right, Doc. Don't spew it there. But
Yeah.
Spread across the
You're
table.
right. You're right. There's it definitely has that little bit of a like a barrel aged gin flavor. That a little
Right.
bit of pine, a little bit of juniper. Yeah,
Of all the
no,
ones-
I take it back. I know what this one is now.
Of all the ones that we've had so far today, 6 to me is the most unique.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
You know, it
Absolutely.
doesn't fit any of the like your and again,
Yeah,
for somebody that's a little bourbon curious and not sure what they're getting into, or even whiskey curious, this would be a good one to kind of bridge that gap between. If you like some of that floral, fruity, even like gin, like you guys are talking about that gin juniper kind of berry.
Yeah.
This is a good transition into that more of a whiskey centric flavor of that.
Here's what I found happens with people that they're like, "Hey, I'm done with Busch Light. I've tried Black Velvet. It doesn't do it for me, except with Sprite. I heard I'm supposed to drink whiskey, and I tried Scotch because everyone's like, Scotch is great. You got to drink Scotch, and it's kind of like drinking IPAs. You love it or you don't. And
Right.
if it just hurts you to drink it, stop. Try something else. And you give them this, and they're like, oh, that's whiskey?
Yeah.
Like, that's not flavored whiskey. That's not a caramel black velvet or anything like that. That's just whiskey, and wow, I could drink that. And that opens them up to, okay, what else is there? What else is there that doesn't hurt me to drink?
I was going to say, so if you're a converting wine drinker, this with some Sprite
Okay.
might help bridge that gap just a little bit. Maybe a just thinking off cuff.
To me, the bad thing when you start mixing with things, especially like soda, the sodas in America today are so overly sweetened for what they are.
Correct.
You almost wait. I mean, honestly, if you're going to mix something with Sprite, mix vodka with it because you're going to lose a lot of that individuality that comes within these whiskeys. But you're a little touch of that sweetness, or even, this would be a great. Again, like a hottie toddy, or even make it an old-fashioned style drink with this, and then the introduction of the orange and the cherry that's with that. This to me is just going to complement a lot of those flavors that come with this whiskey. Now, it's not, it's not a punch yourself in the face with an oak barrel sort of long-aged, 18 or 20-year traditional bourbon. But yeah, this to me again is most unique out of all the ones that we've tried today. And I think it does have that flavor for somebody to be like, oh, this is whiskey, because it's just that much different or unique compared to what I've had.
And we always tell everybody, if you're trying to learn to drink neat, you start with a proof that you can handle.
Yep.
So I mean, this
absolutely.
is one that I think that if you're starting to learn to drink whiskey, trying to appreciate it, this allows that progression to take place a little bit.
Well, and when you're cutting it with Coke, if you're cutting it with Sprite, you're adding flavor to it. If you're just cutting it with water a little bit, to the point that you can be like, ooh, hey, there's some neat flavor there, that's the ideal way to do it. Because not everyone wants to drink barrel proof. I get that, and it's not right for everybody. But if you can take something that you're like, hey, this is really good, let's try this, and then you just add a little water, try it, and then you can wean yourself off the water over time, but you might just find those natural flavors that are all from the barrel and be like, wow, that's really amazing. And it's not cut with Coke, it's not cut with Sprite, it's not.
Yeah, you're not masking the flavor with something else.
It's fairly natural. The water will bring that out. So do you guys need to go through and break any ties?
Well, let's do that in our next episode.
Deal.
So we'll come back and the next episode we'll deal with the ties, and we'll have the taste offs, and then we'll do the big reveal.
The Blues are still losing. Just saying.
Oh well, these things.
But at least we're not the Blackhawks.
All righty.
Basement of the league.
The Blackhawks are not losing.
Basement of the league.
Canada till after Christmas.
All right. So for the Whiskey Friends, come back next time.